Welcome everyone to this exciting interview segment. Today we have the pleasure of sitting down with Nathan Witte, star of the movie Unwrapping Prince. Join us as we delve into Nathan's insights into his character and the challenges of filming this movie. Thank you for being here with us, Nathan.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about your character in Unwrapping Prince?
Of course. Yeah, my character comes from a wealthy family and the pressures of being an only child in a wealthy family. And then, of course, um, having my father pass away at an early age, I feel the pressures of filling the shoes of being the man of the house. And my mother in the show, she holds a high standard for me, and I feel like I'm always one step behind.
Okay. And what initially attracted you to your role in this movie?
Well, I mean, playing a lead character certainly attracts me to the role. I definitely enjoy having more screen time than less screen time. Um, and what I liked about this role is that it takes place around Christmas, and there's like my story is like one of four stories, so we all kind of overlap with each other. So I really enjoyed the fact that this movie is part of I don't even not a trilogy, but a quadrilogy, I guess you would say.
Yeah,
So I thought that was fun having like these little crossovers with the other movies, kind of like our own little Hallmark Marvel series here or whatever.
yeah. Great. So, what do you think makes this movie so special and captivating?
There's a lot of magic in this story, and Amy, the director, I thought she did a fantastic job at creating this sort of love tension. Uh, you know, I come across as maybe the prince in shining armor, and then we find out later that I'm actually planning to be married, and it's like, oh, who is this guy? Is he actually who he says he's to be? You know. And I loved how Amy was able to really play on that and create this dynamic of like, are we teetering on like good choices, or is he kind of shisty, and then playing with Mia's character. Like there's some moments where like, are they gonna kiss? Are they not gonna kiss? It's like almost like forbidden, kind of like this little bit of Romeo and Juliet in there. And I thought that was very well done by Amy's point, because it's like as I was watching the movie, I'm kind of like, oh, are they? I mean, I know the story, but I'm like, oh, I want them to kiss. Oh, they're not.
Great. So, what was it like working with the rest of the cast and crew on set?
It was great, absolutely fantastic. We shot this in Ottawa, and it was my first time going to the nation's capital. And there's just a different type of enthusiasm and work ethic working with people that aren't necessarily in the major hubs like Vancouver or Toronto or LA or New York. There's just this different kind of love and passion behind the scenes with the cast and crew. Everybody's loving what they're doing. There's nobody was jaded, so I had such a pleasure working with everybody on the show. I'd love to do it again.
Great. Hope there will be a sequel of all the four movies.
Yeah, I mean, let's go. I'm down.
Great. So, what can you tease about your character journey in the movie?
Uh, what can I tease about my character?
Your character journey in this movie?
Mm, my character journey. Yeah, it's funny because some of the comments that I've been reading about my character's journey, some women have been like, "I wish he stood up for himself sooner," and that's kind of the biggest arc and journey of my character was kind of finding out who he is as a man, and and knowing what he wants and staying true to that, and not being afraid to express how he truly feels either about himself or the world and the life in which he wants to live. And so the journey of almost being a mama's boy, but not necessarily in a negative sense, but in a way where he wasn't really standing up for himself, wasn't really wanting to voice his opinion, which was contradictory to who his father was. So there was definitely some moments of trying to find the nuances in the character to, notice that I have this part of me that has to fill the shoes of my father, but also I don't want to upset my mother at the same time. And we know that in family dynamics, it's like, dad says no and mom says yes, or vice versa. We play these different games, and um, uh, having that journey of going from someone who's a little bit more submissive to finding someone who he actually is in love with, and using that as an opportunity to find his spine and find out who he is as a man, and the opportunity to speak to his mom in a way that he probably never would have without Mia coming into his life.
Yeah. And the last question about this movie. What was your favorite scene or moment while filming this movie?
Hmm. It's a good question. You know what? I think probably riding the horse.
Oh,
Riding the horse was definitely there's one of those things that in the acting community they're always like, you got to fake it till you make it. And if they say if you can ride a horse, you say yes. And so the scene was supposed to be in a skating rink at the beginning, and then they were like, well, let's, that might be a little sketchy, so let's see if we can do a horse. Like, Nathan, can you ride a horse? Every actor says they can ride a horse. And I was like, yes, I can. They're like, are you sure? And I'm like, I'm from Alberta. I grew up on a farm. I can ride a horse. Let's go. And they're like, okay. And then, yeah. And so that they were so happy because we got this great shot of me coming in, riding the horse, literally like a prince in shining armor, to Mia at the barn that I work at. And so that was one of my favorite scenes. And like the horse, his name was Bugatti, and they named him literally after the car. They had a whole bunch of other horses named after cars, and he wanted to be the star of the show. He was one of the best horses I ever got to work with. He was kept trying to put his face into the camera. He's like, and he was so cute, and yeah, that was definitely probably one of the highlights of the shoot for me.
amazing. So, change of the subject. About your career in general. What have been some of the most memorable projects you have worked on throughout your career and why for you?
Well, first and foremost, the project that I was able to create, write, and produce, and act in with my partner at the time, my friend Chad Rook. He was the director of it. It's called The Perfect Pickup. It's on Amazon. We made it and we sold it to Amazon, and it's there for people to watch. Uh, we made this like 10 years ago, in our 20s, early 20s, and it's a movie about these young guys who think they can't pick up women, and they try to come up with the perfect way to pick up any girl in the world, and it blows up in their face. But that was definitely one of the highlights of my career. There's nothing like going to set with a whole bunch of people I got to work with in my community, and we just get to crack jokes all day. And then I guess one of the other ones is my appearance on the show Charmed. I got to play a recurring character, demon, on the show, and so that was definitely a lot of fun. Made me kind of feel like I was I forget his name, Lord Bailiff from Game of Thrones. Anyways, it's just like a little devious sort of demon who's playing this person over here and playing that person over there, and so that was definitely one of my favorite roles today.
You anticipate my next question. So, can you tell us a little bit about your character and your favorite memories in the TV show Charmed?
Yeah, of course. So Godric. uh, is like hundreds of years old demon, and he had been part of oh, I forget her name in the show. But he was a part of like the witches' families for years and years and years, and he's always been planning to try to like get his reign to the top. And then when I come in, is like finally my way, and I'm using other demons to get my way. But the truth came out, and people started to realize that I might not have everyone's best intention at heart, and eventually I disappear back into the ethereal world of demons and vampires, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, and everybody wondered what happened to my character. I was supposed to come back, but the show, I don't even know what they did.
So, okay. Next question. Can you, talking about a newer TV show, The Charmed, can you tell us a little bit about your character in the TV show Murder in a Small Town?
Mm. Yeah, that one we shot that earlier this year in the Seashell on the Sunshine Coast in Seashell, beautiful part of British Columbia. And my character, Ivan in the show, is actually a good man, and but gets played off as a bad guy. And it's really disheartening because he really loves his girlfriend in the show, excuse me, and she plays him for a fool. And not only does his girlfriend play him for a fool, but even his own brother plays him for a fool. And it's it's kind of sad because he's someone who actually loved both of those individuals and wanted to see the best for everybody. And it's kind of sad to say that we actually live in a world like that where people exploit the niceties of other people.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a very fun role to play, and you know, I tend to get these roles where I'm like the red herring, you know, like he looks like the bad guy, and then I'm like I'm actually a pretty good guy, you know, or the opposite. I'm like I look like a good guy, but I'm actually the bad guy. So I feel really blessed and privileged to be able to play either good or bad, you know, because sometimes it's tough. A lot of actors get stuck in one or the other. So I feel pretty blessed that I can kind of transition between the two.
Great. So, a quick question. At Survival Shows, we are big fans of Christmas rom-coms. What is your all-time favorite? The older ones.
Ooh, a Christmas rom-com.
Yeah.
Um, the one I really like actually, it's the swapping houses one with Jack Black. And I
The
think it's with
holiday. The holiday.
yeah, The Holiday.
Yeah.
I think that was really really cute. I yeah, I'd have to say that was the first one that came to my mind for sure.
Great. So, the last question. Can you tease something about your next projects?
Yes, actually. I'm currently preparing for a role that I shoot next week for another feature film where I'm playing uh, a not a talk show host, but I'm a host of a dance show,
Oh,
kind of like Dancing with the Stars. So I'm like,
oh,
so
great.
I get to be a host like that. So I'm having fun right now, diving into that and feeling the different things. For some reason, and this is nowhere to tease the role or anything, but if no one's ever seen Magnolia, that's a great movie. But this role makes me think of Tom Cruise in Magnolia. Um, that's all I'll give you. It doesn't really tell you anything about this role. This character is not like that character, but anyways, that's the kind of vibe I get. And actually, another cool, exciting thing is my business partner just took our project down to AFM, the American Film Market, and we've been producing our own TV series right now called Cognizant. It's a sci-fi action drama with that's about AI augmented human marines that go back in time to change history and change the future. And we shot a whole pilot, an hour long pilot, took it to AFM, and a lot of people really loved it. So right now we're in negotiations with a few different production companies to see whether we're going to turn it into a series or make a movie and then turn it into a series. So we've got a lot of interest. Really excited to go into 2025, ready to finish this project and let everybody see what we've been cooking.
Oh, great, amazing. You will act
Yes.
in that or only produce after?
I'll be acting in that one. I'm the lead in that one, and well, I'll be producing it as well, and writing it. Yeah, that one's like that's a passion project at the heart right now. We've been working on it for the last 2.5, 3 years, maybe 3 years now. It's been like a COVID project that we were working in background, and it started as a short film that's now turning into either a movie or a TV series. So
Great, good luck. Good luck for that.
yes, thank you.
It's really interesting that the story.
Yes, it is. I can't wait to tell the story once it's done for people to hear. And then up the next thing that the last thing I should say, I guess, what's coming up is I booked a role on the new series Suits LA. Yeah, so I'm in the pilot, and that's probably about it. But I booked a role in the show, so you'll see if you if you pay close attention, it's fast, but you'll see me in there with a few lines.
Amazing. Great. So, this is it. Make sure
Okay.
of you to go to Unwrapping Christmas, me as Prince on Almac Plus. And thank you, Nathan, for joining us today. It was a pleasure.
Yes, you're very welcome. Thanks for including me and survive the shows.
It's a pleasure. And thank you all for watching. Bye.
Thank you.